Hey, good morning. Happy Thursday to you. Raising the bar. Yes, raising my bar and just doing a little self-reflection. So listen up. Let's just dive in, shall we? I'm going to get some water before I continue. And how's your day going, first and foremost? I'm going to let Facebook do its thing. And then I'm going to also invite some folks. It's like rainy weather here where I live, thank God, because we need it. And so I want you to tell me in the comments as you're coming on. First, please share this. If you're watching live, type the number 1. If you're watching the replay, please type the number 2. And I want you to type in the comments where you are watching from. And then, please also type what raising the bar means to you. So I'm going to say that now, and then as people start coming on, I will say that as well. But I want to ask you what raising the bar means to you. I've been doing a lot of self-reflection lately, and I've been listening to a mentor lately with some amazing things to say about raising the bar and mean people and yeah, and going back and cleaning up messes you've made, like vomit, and forgiving and people, but not lowering your bar and continuing to move forward even though people want you to stay stuck. What does that even look like? What does that even sound like? And Tiffany, do I even have a bar? Yes, we all have a bar, and sometimes we don't know that it needs to be raised, and other times we know, and we get to that point where we're like, you know what, I am not choosing to stay here any longer because I know if I do, I'm going to be stuck, and being stuck is not an option. Staying in the same place should not even be an option. So I'm going to let Facebook do its thing. I'm going to start thinking maybe I should do like an email blast or something to kind of like what my friend does, to let people know when I'm going live. Okay. So I'm going to actually find something here right quick. But I am going to actually invite some people because...
What?
Matt, can you please turn that down? Thank you.
Glass cups.
There's mugs there.
I'm buying cups in.
Okay, I'm on a live video.
Dad, it's windy outside. Dad, can I play your phone?
Not right now. If you want to go do that, you have to do that upstairs. Okay, so I just invited some folks, and I've been wondering if this is not the right time to come on. Maybe I should pick different times, but
I'm gonna go on the computer.
okay, please keep your headphones in and put your shirt on, please. Okay, so let's get to this. So I want to ask you, and I'm decided to talk about this today because this is some stuff that I'm learning, and shh, quiet down please. And it's real stuff, and I like to talk about what I'm learning, and I don't always like to come on here and necessarily make it look like, oh, everything's great when it's not. And I like to encourage people that when you hit this snare or this road bump in your life, everyone say hi to Matthew because you will, then I like to share tips on how to get through that, how to navigate, how to maneuver so that you don't stay stuck, so that your bar is continuously raised. And those who don't want your bar continuously raised, those are the people that you love and you just watch from a distance, love from a distance. You still walk in love, know who you are, know whose you are. But your bar, first off, should never, ever, this is stuff I'm learning it from my mentor. Her name is Robbie Page. She's an amazing gal. I've been following her now for about 6 years, since I saw her at a success school with the business that I do. And so she, let me, okay, oh, sorry, there was one more person on here. And let's see. Okay, and so she has been talking about, she's a very, very wise woman, and she's been through a lot, and so she uses her life experiences to now coach and encourage and teach other women, mostly, and people to get ahead and move forward, and what that looks like, and what that looks like in times of our lives when we have to work on stuff so that we don't stay stuck, and what that also looks like during the times when we do have those growth moments that growth moments, period, when we do have those growth moments. First off, what is a bar? So that, I'm glad you asked that question. A bar is something that you have. It's like values. It's like something that you've set that you will not compromise, or you won't lower. Something that you won't compromise for, or that you won't lower that bar because other people want you to. It's like your values. It's like what your mindset is. It's almost like what your thoughts are, what your drive is, what your goals are, what you are, who you are. It's something that you will not negotiate under any circumstances. And I've noticed that as we grow, your bar should be continuously raised. Like we know that game Limbo, right? Well, there's the bar, right? It starts high, but then it gets lower. Why? Because it's tougher to get under when it's lowered. But in this case, if your bar is already set high and you're bringing it lower, you're not going to reach your expectations. You're not going to reach your goals. You're not going to reach your desired places you want to go. And you will be back at the same level you were before you started raising your bar. What does raising your bar even look like? Well, I'm going to share some stories today. For me, raising my bar looked like this. I knew that I was stuck. I knew that I had absolutely no vision. I knew that I needed something in my life to help me. I had a foster care mentality. I had an abused, abandoned mentality, mindset. And believe you me, that was not fun. I'm going to share this real quick on my other page so that people can see. But I had that mentality. I walked around with that mindset, like, woe is me, and I would bring everybody down with me. And when I saw that people were not at the level that my bar was at, I would get mad at them, and I would manipulate them into thinking that they were wrong, and that I would manipulate them and get mad and say things that were rude and very hurtful. I would tear people up with my tongue, and I didn't realize that it was because that's the mindset that I had. But it wasn't until God kept bringing people in my life to help turn the light on, to help show me, hey, sister friend, you can't stay here. If you want to get to the next levels in your life, you need to make a decision today, and you need to make it now. And you decide not to go back to where your bar was, which was on the ground. Because that's the type of place I was. that's where I was. That's where, let me see. Okay, so I'm going to share this real quick. All right, so let me just share. Okay. Share to what page? Let me see this. All right. Good morning. Okay. So I am sharing. Can't share that there for some reason. Okay. Let's just continue sharing this. So I'm going to share this to the group Live Masters. Okay. Oops. All right. Okay, so I shared that to an amazing group of friends. They're now turning into family. Live Masters, it's an amazing group where you can learn speaking skills which add value, especially when you do live videos, because you have people that will come on and they will give you feedback, they will encourage you, and they will, and you build relationships and network and all this other stuff. So okay, sorry for the little bit of delay there. So I had a foster care mentality. Because I was abused. I was ripped away from my parents when I was a baby. So yes, I was born and raised in foster care. So I had that mentality. I was abused. I was neglected. I was abandoned. I was lied to. Anyway, all this stuff, right? So just imagine carrying all that around. But my bar didn't start to get raised until later on, like in my 20s, late 20s. That's when the bar started to get raised, and so it wasn't until I want to say about 2011, that's when my bar started really getting raised. Over time, I would raise my bar a little bit. And each time I would raise my bar, what would happen is people wouldn't like that. I would get bullied. I would get torn up with their words. I would get yelled at, and I would get manipulated that I was wrong for doing that I didn't want to be around negativity. I didn't want to be around that toxicity. I didn't want to be thinking the same way. I wanted to move forward, but yet there were things that were hindering me and holding me back that I knew I had to do something fast, or I was going to be going nowhere with my life. And that to me was not an option. I had to be going somewhere. So I want to ask you, what does the bar look like in your life right now? Where is it at? This is stuff I'm learning right now as we speak. So then fast forward to 2012, 2013. It wasn't until I came across this book that, and this video here, DVD and CD, actually, yes, CD, excuse me, but this book, first and foremost, that I really started raising my bar. My bar started raising. I started getting more values and goals, and developing a mindset that was getting free and rid of the cobwebs and the fog. Danny Johnson, my coach and mentor, says that there's a lot of fog, unforgiveness, bitterness, anger, a lot of fog, a lot of pride, a lot of ego. There was a lot of things there that needed to be worked through so that my bar could get unstuck. So I keep, since that time, I have continuously raised my bar. Now, I have realized that as I keep raising my bar, that there are people that want me to keep my bar at a certain level because it helps them to stay comfortable or has helped them to stay comfortable. Well, I don't want to be responsible for keeping people comfortable. I have to continuously, for me, keep moving forward in my life. And if I am not continuously raising the bar, I'm going to be stuck. And there are people that I am around that continuously raise their bar, which helps me continuously raise my bar and continue doing self-reflection so that I don't go backwards. And then there are other people that want me to go back to where I was because they're not happy with seeing what happens when you move forward. That's just people. But but we have to love them and love them from a distance and love them through things. But you don't have to take their stuff is not your stuff. Their bad attitude or bad day is not your bad day. Their verbal abuse is not tolerated. Their bullying and bitter and whatever else is not your stuff to deal with. And so it's not yours to take on. And so I've just noticed that where I used to be is where a lot of people that are in my circle of influence still are. And as I keep raising my bar, they are tightly trying to hold on to it to keep me where they're at. And it's like, do you know how much work I've had to put in? Do you know how much I've had to invest in order to keep my bar up there? Do you know what I've had to do? Do you know all the stuff, all the sweat, all the tears, all the blood, all the battles, all the stuff I had to go through to be able to have my bar where it's at? And as this my mentor says, it's not that I'm better than anyone. I don't think I'm better than anyone. I am not on any high horse, as I have recently been told and told before that. I don't judge people. I have to consistently ask God every day in the name of Jesus to take the log out of my eye. Hands down helps, because then it helps me to stay clean, clear, not judge people, because it's easy to judge others based on where you're at, that they should be where you're at, and it's easy to get in that frame of mind. But I don't want to get in that frame of mind. I don't even want to stay there, because it's not my place to judge other people. And so, let me just check something real quick. And so, I just, so it's not my place. It's not my place to judge people, and it's not my place to I can't make or force anyone to do something that they're not willing to do. So, so what does that look like in your life? What areas in your life? Sorry, the boy's home not well today. What areas in your life do you need to raise the bar in? What areas in your life do you need to continuously grow in? What areas do you need to keep not negotiating, saying, I'm not negotiating that? This is a non-negotiating thing here. You can come with me or you can stay. But I will not. I will not go backwards. I am not even, it is not up for discussion. I'm not negotiating. I will not be manipulated. I have recently been, this has been happening recently, like this week and recently. So anyway, it's just tough when you know, it's a, how do I say this? It's not an easy process, but it's a necessary process. And if we're not growing through any process, I'm telling you, we can't grow. We can't reach the next level that God wants us to be at. Last night I watched this video from Stephen Furtick, Pastor Stephen Furtick, and he was talking about leaving our comfort zones and dysfunction. And I thought that was funny how the Holy Spirit led me to watch that video, because earlier yesterday there was a question of the day asking in Live Masters something about comfort zones, and did a video called Comfort Zone Stretch, and I had said that life begins at the end of our comfort zone, and Stephen Furtick actually broke that down, and and I'm just going to paraphrase, he said that basically life does begin when we stop staying comfortable. And if people are doing things to you like gossiping about others, it is because they feel comfortable. So it isn't until we stop remaining comfortable, that's when life begins. That's when life truly begins. That's when we can actually go and do the things that God has called us to do, hands down. And when you have a thing that keeps people uncomfortable, good.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Good, because it means it means that you're growing, and that's the best thing, to not stay stuck. So that's just really all I wanted to say to get on here this morning. Is just think about the areas that you need to continuously raise your bar. Think about the areas in which you need to continuously keep your bar raised. And along the way, if people come at you and they want you to take your bar off and lower it back to where you have raised your bar from, don't do it. Don't allow people to manipulate you or say things to you that's going to make you think that you have to do things on their terms. No, you don't have to do things on anyone's terms but your own. And if people want you to do that, well, you keep going. You love them, and you just keep going. As my mentor says, she broke it down in her podcast about mean people and raising the bar. And I thought, how can I talk about what I'm learning? And so that's pretty much all I can say that I'm learning about: raising my bar, keeping it raised, and it is not up for a negotiation to put my bar back to where I have been set free from, to put it back where I've grown from. That's not, to me, that is not okay. And if people don't like it, then that's okay too. So anyway, let's just keep it real with Tiff. I guess today is what's today? Thursday? Well, anyway, I pray you have an amazing day, and thank you to whoever watches. It looks like many of you will be watching the replay. So I will come at you soon with a new video, and y'all have an amazing day. Okay, bye.